Hi there, Ben Young here. You're listening to the Perio Patient Podcast, a podcast for my patients and anyone else who cares to listen. Today is a topic close to my heart. I just want to share with you a study that was recently published in the Journal of Dental Research this year, 2020, by 3 authors, and I'll give them credit even though there's no chance you'll remember their names. Marchesan, Byrd, and Moss. And they entitled their study, Flossing is Associated with Improved Oral Health in Older Adults. So first, some background. They state that tooth loss is independently associated with the onset of disability and mortality among elderly people and may be an early indicator of accelerated aging in adults. This is citing a finding from another study in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society. And no, I haven't read that one. If this is the case, then the authors of this study conclude that it would be a good idea to keep teeth around, and to do this, it is important to, in scientific terms, quote, disrupt the dental biofilm, unquote. In other words, if you want to keep your teeth, it's a good idea to clean them. And by cleaning, since some will interpret this as an intense activity, we are talking about disruption of colonies of bacteria, not something requiring a lot of brute force. They also cite a 2019 Cochran Database review entitled Home Use of Interdental Cleaning Devices, in addition to toothbrushing, for preventing and controlling periodontal diseases and dental caries. Now, if you've listened to my previous podcasts dealing with water fluoridation questions, you've already encountered the Cochran database. So, it's nice to know that what you've been learning comes back to be useful later on. Anyway, that'll be true today as well. This Cochran database was a review of studies dealing with flossing and other interdental cleaning techniques as they relate to plaque control and gingivitis, inflammation of the gums. Now, to this study. It involved 686 community-dwelling people at least 65 years of age that were enrolled in a North Carolina dental study. Out of this data, they selected 375 individuals who were then evaluated for tooth loss over 5 years. The results were they found that elderly people who reported flossing had better attachment levels, meaning their teeth were attached with more fibers, we call them periodontal fibers, to the surrounding bone and gums. They're firmer, better held in place, not as easy to lose them. Visually, this means the gums looked closer to the crowns. The teeth looked normal. There wasn't as much root showing. The p-value between the two groups, and now just be patient, I will explain all of this in a moment, but hang with me. The p-value between the two groups, those that flossed and those that did not floss relative to the strength of the attachment of their teeth in their mouths, was less or equal to a number, and the number is 0.005. So what does all this mean? This is useful to understand if you happen to read scientific articles that analyze data using statistics. So what I'm sharing with you now, I think, is pretty useful to know for anybody. First, whenever we're talking about a p-value, we are talking about it in the context of something else that we call the null, N-U-L-L, hypothesis. So null is the same as nothing, okay? And we'll get to that in a second. Let's hit the word hypothesis. Scientifically, this is a guess. We're guessing about something. All research involves guessing. We guess that there is a correlation between an event and some process we think happened. The null hypothesis is the idea that there is no correlation between the two things. It's working against our guess. In other words, no cause and effect. The p-value is asking what is the probability that the results of the experiment or study is null, nothing, random, that it's not related. The higher the probability results are random, the p number will be larger or closer to the number 1. So the range is between 1, being there is no correlation whatsoever. We are absolutely wrong in our assumptions, and we did not prove our hypothesis. And the range goes down to 0, but doesn't reach 0, because 0 is an impossible number to reach. There's nothing in science that ever is completely proven. There are many things that have astounding evidence or weight that they are true, but we can never be absolutely sure. If we are in the area of faith and not science. In this case, the null hypothesis would be that flossing has no relationship with stronger attachments around the teeth or less periodontal disease. The smaller the p-value, the more likely the result is not an accident. In other words, the more likely that there is a significant relationship between the two things being studied. The normal cutoff for a strong finding or relationship is 0.05. At 0.05, it is saying that there is less than a 5% probability the null is correct. Therefore, we reject the null hypothesis and accept that we're onto something. Does this mean the correlation is correct? Not really. It means that there is strong evidence it is correct. Science, again, is never certain. It is always the process of questioning, of being skeptical. This is why science and politics make poor bedfellows. Enough said on that point. Remember, this was a 5-year study. So, baseline at the beginning of the study, the number of teeth the flosser group had lost was 8.6. But this likely included wisdom teeth. And I'm not reading the study, I'm reading a summary of the report, so I don't really know this. But my guess would be they would have to include wisdom teeth at the beginning because people have them, and so they would count from that. The report I'm reading from, by the way, is from the Journal of the American Dental Association, November 2020 edition. So it's not as bad as it sounds if they are missing 8.6 teeth. Also, historically, many people have had orthodontics where it is not uncommon that 4 bicuspids are removed along with the wisdom teeth. That would be 8 intentional teeth being removed, having nothing to do with decay or periodontal disease. Now, there's no way of knowing how many of these people this would include because we're taking a larger number of people and looking at it. But I'm just putting that out there. What about those who did not floss? Well, their baseline number of missing teeth was 11.5. Remember, the flosser group were missing 8.6. The non-flosser group is missing 11.5. Is this a significant difference? I will answer by giving you the p-value, and you figure it out yourself. The p-value is 0.0001. Okay, I'll help you. That would be that there is 1/100th of a percent chance that the findings were accidentally derived and that there is no correlation. So I would say that correlation is strong between flossing and having fewer teeth lost by the age of these people who were studied compared with those who did not floss and the number of teeth that they lost. But this is a study of over 5 years. So, over 5 years, how many additional teeth did the two groups lose? And is the loss of teeth between the two groups significantly different, thus implying that flossing is helpful? So here's the answer. The flossers in 5 years lost 1 tooth on average. The non-flossers lost 4 teeth. The p-value was 0.0001. Very significant correlation. Molars show the highest benefit from the use of floss. P-value 0.0005. Overall, people who used dental floss had less periodontal disease, fewer caries or tooth decay, and fewer lost teeth over a 5-year period. Now, before you go floss, which you can certainly do in a few minutes, please understand that most people floss using the most difficult and frustrating method possible. That is, they wrap the floss around their first or pointing fingers. If this is you, wrap the floss around your middle fingers between the 2 knuckles, and this will free your first fingers and thumbs to more easily manipulate the floss. If you want to learn more, then read my book and look at the pictures. It's a cheap Kindle download, or buy it for your kids or grandkids as the soft bound and read it out loud to them. They are the ones who, if they floss the rest of their lives, will receive the greatest benefit. In addition to being the Kindle download, it's the soft cover, easy to read book with pictures. I bet it would make an interesting stocking stuffer this Christmas. Thanks as always for listening, and share with others. And let's talk again soon. All right, bye now. No matter how much you push the envelope, it'll still be stationary. Now go floss.